Welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California Pariah, Jonathan Charney, James, the Fat Man, Stevens, hello, and Ryan, that hurts, Preston. So, anybody have any stories? Anybody have any stories you want to start off with?
So, Ryan, do you play Fortnite?
No, I played PUBG because I'm an adult.
Okay, I was wondering. John, you never played that crap either, huh?
Fortnite, I've tried it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I never really got it either, but I guess they're getting a John Wic bounty mode or some shit in there.
Seriously?
Yeah, it sounds like they're stretching for trying to keep people interested. Because, I mean, that thing, how long has it been going on? Like a couple years?
I actually have no idea. They are making
Fortnite? Oh, it's probably a little older than that.
I do know they're
like 2-3 years is what I'm guessing.
I know they're making a lot of money.
Oh yeah, I guarantee they're making a lot of money.
Yeah, well, that's one of those things that has all the microtransactions in the world going on. And, people buy that game 10 times over before they're done.
So Fortnite is 2 years old.
Okay, so I was right with the first time, a couple of years. But I was thinking like 2-3 years or something like that.
Yeah, PUBG, I think, has been around a little longer than that.
I played PUBG.
But that was the one I was trying to get you guys on for a little while.
Yeah, I'm not into the first-person shooter so much anymore. It's just kind of the same thing over and over again. It gets boring.
I just don't understand the point of Fortnite.
Well, Fortnite is the same thing as PUBG, but you build shit instead.
I don't know. I was never impressed. Granted, I played on my cell phone, but just playing
fuck Fortnite, first of all, but no, you just playing it on console is obviously a lot better. Playing it on PC is what people generally go for. But it's a battle royale. That's basically the gist of it.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying
100 people
get boring
in a match.
Yeah, so it's
well, that's why it's fun to play with friends. If you have friends you're playing with, like even just one person, 50 groups of 2 people in these big ass giant maps, you're dropped in there with nothing and you scrounge around. It's basically just fun with friends and then, varying levels of tactics and shit.
I don't know. It still doesn't sound very much fun to me. I mean,
I don't see. If I wanted to do it, I would have gone back to Team Fortress 2 or the problem is I've been playing stuff like that since I was a kid and before it was super popular. And
yeah,
I don't know, like just the older I get, the more that doesn't sound as fun. Like I always usually used to have like either the latest or a couple-year-old version of whatever popular shooting game is. I don't remember what they are now, but I always kept them on hand because they were fun to play. But now they're just kind of boring,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, well, I get that they are repetitive, and as an adult, I definitely prefer a good narrative. So I know what you mean for sure.
Part of it is also the fact that I just don't play it as much, and so the barrier to entry is the fact that I'm just not as good as I used to be. Before I was really good. Now it just gets annoying, like not even getting a chance to explore the map. So it's just like, If I can't swim, I stay out of the pool. So it's kind of the way I kind of play first-person shooters with. I can swim, but
have either of you seen that movie Pixels?
Oh no, I've been wanting to watch it. I just haven't gotten around to it.
I've never.
You know what? It's low key a fucking pretty decently funny fucking movie.
I kind of had a feeling that's what it was going to be.
The reason I'm bringing it up is there's this guy who, obviously, not obviously, but he played a lot of old, 80s arcade games and got used to Centipede, and, you just basically memorize the game, and that's how you beat it. That's how anybody beat Donkey Kong or Super Mario Brothers. We all remember just memorizing. Yeah, exactly. You're really good at those first 3 levels because they're the ones you played a million times. But he meets this kid, or just more or less trying to bang the kid's mom. But in talking to the kid,
at least he's not trying to bang the kid.
Bengals video game. No,
he's not a Catholic priest.
No, save that for the fan fiction.
God, I'm sure it is
the
there.
kid is trying to explain to him the new age video game stuff. He's like, dude, I used to memorize the patterns. This doesn't really strike. He's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, everything's so random. And the kid explained it perfectly. He's like, just pretend you're the guy and you don't want to die.
Yeah.
Like that kind of became fun to me at a certain point. Not even just like the narrative stuff like Red Dead Revolver or something like that. Just the PUBG style games where I'm kind of putting in my own narrative. That's why I always like Skyrim.
Yeah.
There was enough open room there in that game where it's like, yeah, you can kind of be the guy they're telling you should be in this game, or you can just go off, do your own thing, create your own narrative. I like that sandboxy sort of feel.
Well, that's what I was kind of hoping Red Dead would be, but Red Dead was too open world for me.
The newest one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, granted, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play it, but I got kind of...
Yeah, I've never heard that being a problem.
I got it... I got a little bored of it pretty quick, honestly.
Well, I mean, like you said, that's what I enjoyed about Skyrim and most of the Elder Scroll games. I mean, like, one of my favorite stories about Skyrim is that there was a guy who spent like 6 months just going around in the wilderness, just chopping wood and hunting animals and, just not even playing the story mode at all or any of that stuff. He just wandered off and just started doing his own shit. And I enjoyed that type of thing. That's what I liked about Oblivion and Skyrim as much as I played it. I didn't really have to do what they wanted me to do. I could do whatever the hell I wanted for as long as I wanted.
Yeah, maybe that's one of the things I found kind of boring about Red Dead 2 is, to me, there wasn't enough. It was... But I should have realized when I got it that it's pretty much you robbing everything versus Skyrim. There was a depth of stuff you could do.
What do you mean? I robbed everything in Skyrim too.
You know what I mean, jackass.
And I did in Oblivion.
But that's all there is to do in Red Dead.
Did it in Morrowind. But
yeah, I'll tell you what. I played Red Dead twice. And see, with Red Dead, you really gotta like the moseying part of that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just gonna kind of mosey through the heartlands here for a little while and take a look at the sites, and they're sort of counting on that a lot with the amount of open world. But I like being able to kill 4 months on a game a couple hours at a time.
Yeah.
But I played it twice, one with really bad honor, like psychopathic, and one I was buying for sainthood.
I can't do that. I can't do the sainthood. Like,
Bro,
I try,
so
and then
hard,
I accidentally just kill the whole town. I mean, it doesn't work.
It was so hard. What I realized is you can farm honor points by catch and release fishing.
That's the one thing.
I'd snap on a couple of people, I'd shoot them in the face, and I'd be like, God damn it, that's going to be like 10 fish.
I don't even think I have the fishing
Not 10
pole.
Hail Marys, 10 fish.
I don't think I have the fishing pole yet. That's all early, I think.
Seriously? Dude, you barely got into that thing. Just do all the missions. Fuck wandering around.
But I'm going to have to. It's just one of those things that I've been working so much that the idea of playing a video game is just kind of like, versus watching, a 30-minute show or reading or sleeping,
See, I thought it was funny that I just, I cleared all my bounties and then just wandering through, I ended up killing 18 people and I having a whole nother bounty again.
Yeah, that was the other thing I got irritated with the bounty is the fact that I kill a bunch of people and I want to go back in the town and the next thing I know, I'm being sworn by people.
The amount of witnesses that I buried is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other issue I have is I have a tendency to leave issues. I just want to...
Wait, hold on.
I leave witnesses.
You can bury the witnesses?
I mean, drag into a bush, drop off a cliff. I mean, pick your poison.
Oh.
Wait, you just don't shoot them and leave them in the middle of the road?
I mean, a lot of the times I do.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to embellish for the sake of the story.
I'm just wondering,
picking it apart.
You can actually drag the bodies into a bush? That never even occurred to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can drop them off around a rock somewhere so nobody sees them.
Dude, I used to drop them off.
Oh, yeah, I did drop a couple off cliffs now.
I would drag them up, tall things and drop them off. So Ubisoft, did something that, in my opinion, may affect the next time I decide to buy a game from them. Let's see if you guys are as pissed off as I was. Ubisoft says, tweet about potential new Splinter Cell was a joke.
What?
Ubisoft's beloved Tom Clancy Splinter Cell franchise may be returning. Julian something, creative director of the Division 2, tweeted out working on the next Splinter Cell with somebody, and somebody continued saying he can't wait. He then followed up a second tweet writing, okay, please don't retweet. I may be in trouble. So pretty much.
So he better have gotten fired.
So basically, they've been retracting.
I'd fire his ass.
They've been retracting the statement. I've been semi-following this. And it says, update. Since publishing the story, a Ubisoft representative told IGN that Julian was joking with his tweet regarding potential new Splinter Cell. Julian was obviously joking, as Julian likes to do. It looks like our creative directors are having fun right now, but we don't have any announcement to make this time. Which means one of two things.
You mean he was drunk?
Yeah, the picture the picture I saw on Reddit was with him, like, two people are holding him over, and he's looked like he's had way too much fun on his hands. But it means one of two speak, because one, that's marketing talk. So that's either they're going to do it, so it's either for the next generation of consoles, or it's going to be on this version of consoles, but it's so early in development that they didn't want anybody to know. Or he completely lied off his ass and potentially got Ubisoft in a raft of shit, because I've been wanting a new fucking Splinter game forever.
I think he is probably the former. He probably just opened his mouth when he shouldn't have. There's something that was happening, and they're like, "Dude, we weren't planning on announcing that until like E3 or some fancy shit."
See, the biggest issue I have with that was the marketing person. Their comment was, "Oh, he was obviously joking."
Yeah,
really.
Right.
I
think that's just saying. I think that's damage control.
Yeah, but it's stupid damage control. Instead of even saying something like, right now we can't really confirm or deny it. Just stay tuned, or basically not even answering it. The problem is it's a non-denial denial, and I have issues with that because it totally. It's bullshit marketing speak. I think the PR person fucked up by saying, "Oh, he's only joking." I mean, he could have been, but I think that was let's just say that was a very, very poor way to put it.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think they're just doing damage control. I mean, if they're probably going to be releasing it like 2 years from now, you know what I mean? Like,
well, let me put
nowhere near the amount of the time that they want to say anything about it.
What they should have done is they should have ignored it, because that's like putting a prom queen with a zit and then highlighting it with a red marker. And then so what's going to happen is
what kind of women were you dating?
Is that's just going to stand out no matter what.
I get that what seems to me is they're trying to just kind of let everybody down, so they're not thinking about it anymore. Like, hey, don't get your hopes up, guys, so they can do their big reveal somewhere down the road. That's at least what I'm hoping. I
think there could have been better ways to do it. Including if I was him, what I would have done. If I was a PR people, I would say, okay, this is what you're going to say, is saying, I love Splinter Cell so much. This was kind of my way of telling the bosses, hey, I really want to make another Splinter Cell. Because to me, that would have been like, okay, this is a guy trying to knock some heads around, instead of saying, oh, he's only joking, right? I don't know. It just kind of, marketing speak wise, that was just kind of a weird way to put it, in my opinion. But as soon as I read that, because I got kind of jazzed. It's
not marketing. They're not trying to market shit.
Well, that was PR speak. What it was is by saying he was
PR speak. That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, he didn't really say that. Everyone forget about that. Move back to business. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. That's
why I think what they should have done is the PR person basically tell the guy saying, what you're going to do now is say, this is me trying to get my bosses to make it the Splinter Cell game, which I love. And then what they would have done...
I think that's putting too much effort into the excuse.
Yep, I think it does a couple of things. One, if they really do potentially have another Splinter Cell coming on the works, that gets everybody to realize, hey, this may be a good Splinter Cell because this guy really likes it a couple of years down the line. Instead, what it does is it turns him into a heel. He could easily be a face character by by trying to rally, by trying to get all the fans to potentially say, hey, he's going to be on our side. There might be another Splinter Cell. I think they just handled it poorly. Because I
don't think there's a good or bad way to do it, really.
Well, it really depends on how much this does.
I think you just take his pinky finger.
Which according
Yakuza style.
According from what I've read, it pops off fairly easily.
You want to try?
No.
You sure?
Why don't you do it? You're missing enough digits.
No, I've got all of them. See?
I'll bet you can't light your cigarette lighter 10 times in a row.
I wonder if anybody gets that reference.
Do you know, with my current Zippo, no. My first one that you knew about, I would do that one with. Because, you know, I wouldn't be driving down I-5 with all the windows down and that shit was still light.
Yeah, well, because you fucking fill the thing like you're filling it like an airplane.
I know. Got to slosh that shit around.
So one of my...
You're the one who taught me how to fill a Zippo when I still light my hand on fire every time.
So one of my all-time favorite pro wrestlers recently got sent to the hospital. Ric Flair was rushed to the hospital Thursday morning after he's suffering a medical condition. According to what I just read, said he's supposed to be making a full recovery. Ric Flair, if you don't know who he was, he lived the wrestling lifestyle. So I recently heard an interview. This is what I found fascinating. They say Gene Simmons himself says he probably slept with 4,800 women. Guess how many women Ric Flair says he slept with? 10,000 or more.
I mean, by his own admission, like...
Yes, I mean, this
by his STD count.
Granted, there's a couple of things. One is, you know, you're taking a wrestler. So a wrestler's...
It's embellishing the truth of all those.
But it wasn't...
Right.
It wasn't actually uncommon from what I've been reading. Wrestler fans of the female persuasion are generally called rats. And it wasn't uncommon from what I've heard back in the old days for there to be quite a number of these rats, depending on how popular you were. So in theory, it could be true. Like, I have a feeling Ric Flair has like kids in every city in the United States.
I mean, if you're going down the street and you hear a woo, there's one.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Of course, he's always had bleached blonde hair, so I'm not sure if anybody knows his original hair color.
He probably doesn't even know his original hair color.
But I thought that was funny. You guys look up on YouTube that there's a series by, was it Vice or Viceland, called Dark Sides of the Ring. It's been one of the best documentary series I've ever seen. They talked about the Montreal screw job, Bruiser Brody, who got stabbed to death, the tragedy of the Von Erichs family. It's an amazing small part documentary series.
Is your train dying? It just sounds really weird today.
At least it's better than those beats he used to have. You know, when we were doing it before, when you'd hear dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, well, at least we had a train to distract us from that.
Actually, it was more entertaining was the helicopter. Dun, 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 dun. It's like, dude, are you living in a movie?
No, you just listen to Ghetto.
Welcome to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
God, it's like the opening scenes of Demolition Man.
Speaking of news around this area, Riverside County, maybe about little more than an hour and change from here. A fucking F-16 crashed into a building.
Yep. Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah. There's an Air Force base right next to.
What building was it? That's what I'm curious about.
It was a big ass huge warehouse.
How do you how many stories though?
Look, I can't really tell. I'm only seeing the.
I haven't looked up the news on it.
Oh no, yeah, that's maybe
10
35 feet ceilings, but just open inside.
How low was that fucker going?
Well, apparently he was coming in for a landing.
Oh, okay.
and something went wrong, and apparently it was 3:45 in the afternoon, right on the 215 freeway.
Oh shit!
So there's a lot of people that hear the planes taking off and look around. There's a cemetery, a national cemetery, right across the freeway, and I've been there, and every time I hear the planes going off, I'm always looking up, seeing if it's some big C-1, 141 or some jet taking off. Huh. So there was a lot of people that saw this thing like coming in, like getting lower, but sideways.
Oh,
they're like,
shit.
That's weird. So guy ejects, and plane fucking keeps going a little bit past the Air Force base. It's a reserve base.
Oh, okay.
And crashes into a friggin' warehouse.
Shit.
And doesn't blow up.
Oh, shit. All right. Well,
yeah,
salvageable
somehow
then.
the whole thing's like not on fire. I mean, it's a big ass building, but yeah, it's crazy. Usually those things explode.
Yeah. That's interesting, because I was wondering about that. I heard it on the news as I was leaving the house earlier, when John was coming by, and I didn't actually get to chill out and check the whole story out. But
let's see. So, a military F-16 fighter jet crashed in a commercial building at March Air Reserve Base in Monroe Valley, California. CBS Los Angeles reported the pilot ejected and is being evaluated. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department tweeted. Melissa Melendez, the assemblywoman for the district, tweeted that the warehouse workers have been accounted for.
I just love the fact that there's a plane.
It's parked on the roof. That's
no,
what it looks like.
but there's a plane hole in the side of the building.
Well, it's right in the top of the building.
But yeah,
and it looked like it came in at an angle because it's sitting underneath a bunch of boxes. Maybe about 50 feet from where the hole is above it.
The California Highway Patrol shut down southbound Interstate 215. Holy fuck, that must have been a lot of pissed off people shutting down an interstate near Los Angeles.
It's out in the middle of a desert, but still there's a lot of people that use that road.
Oh, yeah.
I just couldn't imagine.
But fuck, imagine being one of the guys inside of that warehouse, on a forklift or something.
That reminds me of a story. When I was a kid, my parents had an SR-71 do a U-turn over their house. That was fairly low.
So,
it'd be like that level.
So the person who was in the building when the plane crashed recorded the immediate aftermath on camera and published it to Facebook. Holy shit, dude. That's a fucking airplane. That's a military airplane in our building.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm covering the explicits for him, but I'm sure that's what he said.
That's hilarious.
You know what? This reminds me of what pisses me off in movies that they do fucking constantly. Once a year, I'll see this in some dumb shit action movie where there's always the cleaning guy or the forklift guy or one of the janitors taking out the trash, and he's got earbuds in or headphones on,
and doesn't hear anything happening.
The craziest shit could be going on behind him. Fucking fighter jets outside the window, and bombs going off, and it's like, dude, your whole chest didn't rattle right now, enough to be like, what the fuck was that? And turn around, you had to physically hear something.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
That's pretty funny though. I mean, that whole building would freaking shake. Just to say, I mean. You wouldn't be able to not realize that that's happening.
Yeah, and F-16s are not fucking small. Military jets are not small. You don't realize it until you're standing next to one. They have a really bitchin' air museum there at the Air Force Base also. When you're next to them, you get the sense of size. You're like, oh, this is a fucking airplane.
So, in probably the worst headline I have read today, everybody's favorite Twilight vampire, Robert Pattinson, to play Batman for Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers. And this is according to Variety. He is going from sex symbol to bat symbol. Sources, oh fuck, really? Did you have to put that in there? Tell Variety that Robert whatever is going to negotiate.
I was going to say, are you reading fucking Variety?
Yes. Oh my fucking God.
That's when you get phrases like that. It's when you read Variety. You did this to yourself.
That actually hurt to read that. Most sources say it's not.
You know what? What do we all feel about fucking Heath Ledger's Joker? I'm not even having that kind of expectations with Pattinson doing that. But if he gets 10% of that, then I'll be impressed, and he'll get a pass from me. You get a chance to live down your previous mistakes.
I think his girlfriend in the movie Twilight would play a better Batman because at least she doesn't smile. I don't know. I just don't see it. I can kind of see it. So this is the photo they show in Variety. I can kind of see it, but kind of not. It also depends on me in a couple of ways.
I mean, is he going to get that peach fuzz to grow out?
That's probably as much as it goes.
Okay. Just asking.
To me, it really depends on how they do it. Are they going to play it Christian Bale or Adam West?
Or Ben Affleck? Is he going to eat the turkey dinner before?
He's going to go Adam West.
Well, because that's kind of the scales to Batman. It's Adam West to Christian Bale. That's kind of the extremes on both ends.
Yeah, well, they're going to be trying to build against their universe. They're trying to play catch up with 22 fucking Marvel movies.
So he's
and they've kind of flopped a couple of them here and there.
So the question
is, can we come back to that? They kind of flopped, kinda.
Bat flopped. So is he supposed to be Is he supposed to be the replacement for Ben Affleck, or is they going to start over?
You know,
no, they're not starting shit over. He's going to be the replacement, and they're going to kind of revamp a few things, but it's all going to be with the current iterations of the universe.
So here's the question. Are they going to bring Ra's al Ghul in the Lazarus Pits? Because that's the only way they're going to have a younger, thinner Batman. Because Ben Affleck was the older guy on the verge of retirement.
I would be okay with this. They take little Sparkly over here and turn him into McGinnis and keep Benny Affleck as old Batman. Ben
Affleck said no.
Well, I didn't ask Benny Affleck.
Yeah, Affleck doesn't want to do it anymore.
He probably got...
But they're going to be doing a Batman movie, another Suicide Squad movie James Gunn's doing, The Flash coming in 2021, and Aquaman 2.
You know, I really liked the Aquaman movie. I actually finally sat down and watched it.
Holy shit, is it campy?
It is, but I mean, you're dealing with a dude who can talk to fish.
No, you know, so the campy part was the fucking sets. The black manta scene is ridiculous.
It
literally. So here's what it was. Any of you guys remember? It was at Nightwing or Nightman. It was an old superhero TV show in the 90s. That's how campy it was. That costume looked like something that was for a made-for-TV movie. Yeah. Automan called. They want their material back. I mean, that's... But so, I by the way, it stayed fairly close from the parts I've seen, because I've seen not all of it, but I've seen a chunk of it. It stayed pretty close to the Aquaman cartoon.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of going with. That's what I was all right with.
Well, what they're going to try to do, they have to figure out a way to make the supernatural part of the DC universe start fitting in with the Batman that we know. You know what I mean? This is going to be the first Batman standalone movie that they're doing in this universe.
See,
you couldn't do that with Christian Bale stuff because it was too rooted in real life. You know, it was the real versions of, you know, Joker, as silly as that sounds.
This is why I think
when they've automatically have like all the dark side stuff is supposed to come into play. You have Wonder Woman and all the powers and everything. So
this is what I think they should.
Different.
I think what they should do, this would be a perfect time to bring in the Shadow Society and Ra's al Ghul, because they have the Lazarus Pits. They could have something with Ben Affleck in the beginning of the movie to kind of set the scene. I think you could.
I mean, it would be a good way to go. You know, like an actual. I mean, but they did Ra's al Ghul with Christian Bale stuff.
But this would be the first time,
and they turned it all around. And so, do they bring that back? Do they bring back Joker? The problem is we have too many fucking Batman movies.
Well, this is what I'm saying is they keep it in the the most recent universe they created, and they have the Batman 90s Ra's al Ghul, not this, not the one from Christian Bale.
It's obviously not going to be, because Christian Bale one, they changed around the character quite a bit.
I didn't like that.
I'm talking about the dude who's like 2,000 years old or 1,000 years old.
Right.
I think they should bring that guy in, because the benefit about that, then they'd have an excuse for showing somehow why Batman is all of a sudden younger.
I was thinking they should just have, Benny Affleck trying to run up the rocky steps, and then all of a sudden he comes down sparkly, with
a laugh track. Because that's the only way I could think they could justify that. Or, no, I don't know. There's really no way I think you could do that. Because they did show the multiverse. They could have, this is probably, they could do the way that would piss me off is have a have the multi-universe Batman, like Ben Affleck disappears, so somehow a Batman from another multiverse comes in. Because how else would you explain a younger, thinner Batman?
Well, obviously can bulk up quite a bit. He's not a small guy. He's pretty tall, if I read that right.
Well, I meant thinner far as he's younger. I mean, because excuse me, the way they played up.
Well, the picture that I just saw of him, he's got a pretty fucking lantern-looking jaw, not for nothing. I'm not exactly in the camp of giving him fucking props, but.
Well, let me put it a different way. Like, if you take a look at the way they played, excuse me, the Ben Affleck in the Batman movies, the most recent.
Ben Affleck was jacked in that movie.
They made him look jacked, but they also made him look closer to the Killing Joke Batman. The older, gruffer Batman. And
it was actually Dark Knight Returns. That's exactly what it was supposed to be.
And if you, that's right, excuse me. And if you take Robert, was it Pattinson? Pattinson. If you take Robert Pattinson, I don't see him, just because he's younger, this is an age thing, I don't see him being that Batman. So they're going to have to figure out a way, in my opinion, how do they reel back time a little bit? Because he doesn't have, to me, the gravitas and just his looks and his facial structures that would give him to be the old grizzled veteran.
Yeah, and I don't think that's actually a good question. I don't know how they're gonna do that in the current universe to dial back his age. Because, Ben Affleck was playing the damn near retired version of Batman.
This is why I think Ra's al Ghul, excuse me, I think he would be a good character to play. And what you could do, in my opinion, is have him somebody Batman has fought against a bunch of times. And something happens, shenanigans happen, Batman ends up in a Lazarus pit. You could have... Okay, how about this? Something happens.
Well, I don't think it has to go with the supernatural reason. I think they might do prequel style. You know what I mean? Hey, this is the early days.
No, see, they could, but I would kind of like to see an actual, this is kind of what my dream thing would be. Something happens and Batman gets super injured. And so you have Wonder Woman and one other character, like Batman's super inner circle. So it'd be Batman and, say, Wonder Woman and Superman, take him to a Lazarus pit. And so you have a little bit of the movie of Batman being evil because of what Lazarus Pit does. And you have a moment for redemption where Batman kind of breaks out of the psychopathness from the pit. And then you can go on with the new and improved Batman versus the prequel, which, the problem with the prequel is then they still have to explain how does he end up younger, especially if you compare to the other movies.
Okay. No, here's the thing: is I think you do a prequel of Batman, so before the events of Batman versus Superman and Justice League, and then by the time you do the next Justice League movie, the actor himself is a little bit older. Not to mention, you're just used to him being Batman now, and it's not going to strike you as weird in the next Justice League movie.
That's probably what they're going to...
That's obviously what this is all leading to, is the Justice League movie. So they probably go back, because I know Wonder Woman, the new Wonder Woman movie they're doing is titled 1984. So they're dialing her character back to the 80s. They probably do the same thing with Bat and, go back 20 years. Yeah. He's in the middle of dealing with the Penguin and Joker and all that shit.
Yeah, but see, I like my idea because it's something a little different than what Hollywood would do. Because what you're saying makes...
That's probably why they're not going to do it.
That's true.
But yeah, also you got to drip feed the supernatural side of the DC universe to everybody a little bit slower, because it's a darker style of universe and it's a way different tone than people are used to with Marvel movies.
See, that's
so you have to be sort of gentle with how you bring in the silly ass fucking supernatural parts of it.
See, this is why I think the Lazarus Pit would be perfect, because it literally is the most gentle side of the supernatural side of DC that's not ridiculous. It's grounded in
what?
No, this is the reason why I say it, because it's grounded with it's fairly grounded within the DC's universe, but it's not so.
Yeah, but
it's not
the movie going audience.
See, I think you could explain it enough somehow that
There's
it would
a lot to explain.
Well, see, I don't really think so. I think what happened. So this is what my thought would be: is something happens to Batman when he gets really injured, and Batman has a contingency plan, and somehow he mentions it to him. They go in the Bat Cave or whatever it actually isn't called now, and then that gives us a very short, brief explanation of what the pits are, and it doesn't mention Ra's al Ghul. It just it'll say this is my contingency plan, and then you could easily introduce the character of Ra's al Ghul later in, and you could just layer it in as you go.
So, do you do the first part with Ben Affleck?
Yeah. So actually, so what you could you have enough stuff. You either ask them to do it, or use stock footage, or even just or what you do is you don't even necessarily have to show them. You could have, the old Hollywood trick of there's a body there, but you don't really show it.
That's ridiculous.
I don't think so. I think you could do it really well. What do you think, James?
I think that'd be hacky as fuck.
I don't know. I think any way you try to do that, you're going to be rushing the story.
Well, see, my idea is this would be half the movie.
So how long of a movie are you going to make?
Most movies today are 2 hours to 2.5 hours.
Yeah, but
fucking Endgame, 3 hours, man.
Oh,
like
stop your bitching,
change, dude.
So this is that's what my idea would be. Something happens to Batman, and you hopefully get Ben Affleck to do it, because I think that would be best. And he's
not doing it.
You never know. He breaks his back or something happens.
Much said as much. I'm not guessing.
Wait, didn't he break his back in actually one of the storylines of Batman?
Well, in the actual movie, Bane broke his back.
Yeah, Bane broke his back.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in the actual comic storyline. Didn't
Bane broke his back in the comic?
In the comic, Bane broke his back.
Thank you.
So that's what
in the movie.
No, in the comic book, Bane broke his back.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
and it was the first. And what happened is he had a guy take over his role as Batman, and this guy was a psychopath.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really just want Ra's al Ghul because I think he'd be the best actual villain, actual kind of really deep into it. Because I'll never get like the Constantine movie I want. I just don't see it.
Yeah, no, I want the cartoon Constantine movie.
Yeah, see, I want a live action cartoon. I want it dripping in because like the TV show Constantine, that character, I want that character, but fucking hella dark on 1080, 4K TV movie screens type of thing.
So you don't want Keanu?
The only issue I had with Keanu is the fact that they fucked up the character. I really
don't think I can't blame Keanu on that.
Oh no, it's not his fault, but I really like the sardonic side of Constantine. The kind of
I'm sarcastic, fucking down on his fucking luck.
Yeah, I love that.
Really, what I want Detective Chimp. This is my criteria for fucking Constantine.
And you bitch about the Lazarus Pit being ridiculous. You want Detective Chimp?
Look, if we're going Constantine, then all fucking bets are off.
Okay, see,
he's got a point.
Dude,
he lives in a house of mystery.
I was gonna say we better have the house that has a body.
Actually, speaking of Dr. Chimp, have you watched The Umbrella Academy? Dipshit.
You know what, bro? I fucking did watch that show, and my girlfriend was into it, and I was totally not sold on about the first 7 episodes. The last episode was like, all right, I'll watch second season.
Yeah. I actually, as soon as they started doing the Constantinople song with that kid, I was sold.
Yeah.
That scene sold me because that was a really well done a sequence. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's way better than Buck Wild, Nightcrawler, and X-Men 2. You know? I mean, that show's badass.
Yeah.
So what is it called? Umbrella?
Umbrella Academy.
Is it spelled like the umbrella or umbrella?
Yeah. Like an umbrella.
I've
Academy.
never. Is it? What is it? I've never heard of
It's
it.
a Netflix show.
That's why I don't know.
Yeah, it was based on a graphic novel.
Yeah.
It was actually done by, I want to say, like the guy from fucking My Chemical Romance or something.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the singer of that band co-wrote the comic book.
Huh.
The Umbrella Academy is an American comic book series created and written by Gene Way and illustrated by Gabriel Ba. Yeah.
Bah.
The first six issue limited edition series, The Umbrella Apocalypse Suite, was released by Dark Horse Comics. The main story, the team of Umbrella Academy is described as dysfunctional family superheroes in the mid-20th century. At the instant of the finishing blow in cosmic wrestling match 43, superpowered infants are inexplicably born to random, unconnected women. Oh, okay. I know. I've seen the previews for this show on Netflix.
Yeah, as Ryan said, is, you know, like, you don't really get sold into it really easily, but there is some redeeming factors to the show. But that's what I was thinking, like, when he was talking about Detective Chimp, that's the guy in
Yeah.
Umbrella Academy makes me think of Detective Chimp.
Right.
I wish I could get into TV shows more. There's just, maybe I'm at the age or where I'm at life. There's just no TV shows, no matter what I watch, that I get into.
So now, we were talking about rumors of games a little while ago, and it made me look up one that I've been trying and hoping and praying that it comes to consoles again, making a new return. Is Fable 4 is supposed to be coming out in consoles this year. And now it's been kind of let out with Windows 10, but I haven't seen much on it. But now, the question as of an article from 8 days ago is whether or not it's going to be able to be on the One or Xbox Project Scarlet.
Let's see.
So I'm a big fan of the Fables. Ryan, do you ever play the Fables?
Yeah, first couple.
I love how dark and twisted those can get.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think James watched me play a little bit of it, and he's like, "Can I play that?" I'm like, "Not until you're like 25." You know, I mean, you can do some really jacked up shit in that one. I love the one where you could put the statues in towns. I had statues where I was flipping off entire towns. You know, I mean, but it looks like a kid's game when you watch some of it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it totally seems like a kid's game, but it is definitely not a kid's game. And that's what I'm excited for. They're saying it's going to be open world again with a little bit of story. You know, there's a storyline you can follow as well, but you can just run around and do whatever the fuck you want for a long time. And that's what I loved about the Fables, is you could draw it out as long as you wanted.
So depending, so if Microsoft still owns the IP of Fable, if I were them, I would wait for the next generation, because pretty much the one is on the downward.
Well, they don't need to. The One X, I mean, is basically ready for any of the new shit they're going to be coming out with.
Well, it really depends, because if I remember correctly, is it still running the same processor? Is the one?
I don't know.
One X? No.
Because that's the question I have is, are they going to do a next generation console or not? Because if they are, so the question here is, there's something called the Project Scarlet. Now, it does mention it may be a diskless system, which I dislike. So it depends, because if there is going to be an actual true next generation system, which I agree with Ryan, why would they release the One / Scorpion? Then
with this coming out,
and then 2020, the end of 2020, probably releasing another one. If they are, I would wait. If they're not, I hope they release it. I hope they release it soon.
Yeah,
because See, that's the reason I haven't bought an Xbox, a new one, because I still have the release day Xbox One. I wouldn't mind getting an X because I have a 4K TV and I would love to take I'd love to use it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I was really pissed when they closed Lionhead
Studios. Yeah, I was really pissed off too because Fable was the one game that I was always going to Lion's Head for because I didn't play the first Fable, but I played the second one and
I didn't
really
enjoy
like the third one.
I didn't enjoy the first Fable as much. The second one was probably my favorite, and the third one was cool. One of the things I like about Fable is it doesn't take itself too seriously. I mean, there's some serious gameplay in it, but it's fairly self-aware, which is one of the reasons I thought it was
always fun and campy, and you can just have a great time with it.
Like the funnest thing at I think it was the second or third one, there's a potion. At the potion, it's a one-time use. It's the only one in the game where you can change your gender and you're forced to stay with it for the rest of how long you play with it.
And I used it.
It's random.
Why not?
Random shit like that is one of the reasons I loved that game.
Yeah, it had a lot of random stuff in the game. One of my favorite ones from the second one was that if you went around and kicking chickens is just fun in the game. But if you did it a certain amount of times, you unlocked basically a hidden achievement in the game in the Xbox thing, and it's. But, just like the dastardly one from Red Dead, there's just little things like that if you're a sick and twisted person who just gets enjoyment out of just screwing around in the game, they put little, cookies in there for you, or cheese is what it was in Halo.
So, Ryan, do you have a Switch?
No.
See, I've been thinking, so I bought my wife a couple of years ago. It might have been when it came out or a little bit after. I bought her the Nintendo Switch, and I bought her
I have a 64.
I bought her the previous Zelda game, and now I've been thinking about buying for myself and for her the Breath of the Wild. And I've heard,
I want to play that fucking game because it looks dope.
See, that's the issue. It's like I'm thinking of either buying the Xbox Game Pass because it's for $60, I think, for a whole year, and you get access to 100 and something games, or get Breath of the Wild. I've been trying to balance out what I want because Breath of the Wild looks really fucking fun. And
it definitely does.
And so I've been kicking myself in the ass trying to figure out what I want to do because the Game Pass has some okay games on it.
Yeah, it does. I keep kind of scrolling through that list and whatnot, but I mean, a lot of those things I don't play for more than a couple of days, or it's not as good as I was expecting or hoping.
You see,
so
there's two games on there I want to play. There has the bunch of Hitman games, and it has the latest version of Tomb Raider on it. And that's the only games on there I want to play. But $60 for 3 games, or like one game, because they have the latest episodic content of Hitman, in reality it would balance itself out. Versus spending $60 for a brand new disc or whatever. So I've been kind of mulling it over because I was in GameStop a couple of days ago and I saw that Breath of the Wild. It's like, ooh, that just looks like so much fun. Because the gameplay is fucking crazy. Have you watched any of the gameplay videos, Ryan?
Yeah, that's what actually made me want to play it.
Dude, the Switch is a pretty amazing little console. I'm really impressed. I love the fact it's portable, but my favorite thing about it is they have this little dock that has I think it's a mini HDMI. You set it on there, take the sides off, put it on the controller, and boom, you can play it like a standard console. I'm really impressed with it. It's really well done, which is not something I would have said for Nintendo in the last 2 generations of their consoles. The Wii, I have to admit, the only thing I loved the Wii for was for Wii Bowling and Wii Tennis. Those were really fun. I could have played those for hours.
Yeah, Wii Bowling was fucking great.
I never really cared.
Oh, dude, I had so much fun with friends of mine playing that until I realized the optimum position was with me sitting on my ass and just flicking my wrist the right way. It was like, okay. That lost kind of the fun. The coolest thing, though, this is a total sidebar. I did hear that some of these care facilities started buying Wii because a lot of these guys and gals grew up in the age when bowling was the big thing. It was pretty much the sport for the poorer people because a bowling ball was fairly inexpensive. It was an investment, but fairly inexpensive. And all you needed was shoes, and you could, in a couple of bucks, got you to play bowling all day. So playing Wii, these guys and gals got to bowl all over again. Which is one of the things I heard that they were really happy is it started improving these people's lives.
If it works, it works. But nah, I was never interested in it.
I loved Wii bowling. Wii bowling and Wii tennis and Wii bowling were my favorite.
I thought the lightsaber battle ones were kind of cool, but I just never really was that interested.
Such a fucking gimmick.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. It's a gimmick console I'm talking about.
That's what I was going to say is the entire console concept was a gimmick, is a gimmick.
But you have to give them credit, though. Credit because that's the only way Nintendo would have survived. Because you have Microsoft and you had Sony going for head-to-head and console power. And so the only way they could have survived was by doing a 180-degree turn and doing something ridiculous.
Yeah, and it worked out for them. I mean, it obviously didn't work out for Xbox with the Kinect.
It worked out so much that Microsoft and Sony were trying to copy them in some ways.
I know. That's what the funniest thing was. I didn't buy an Xbox One until they dropped the Kinect. I wouldn't do it.
The Kinect had so much potential. The issue I had with... One of the things I was hoping for is I was really hoping that they'd have games that would scan your face so you could actually play as yourself, as your own character. There were a bunch of little things I thought they could do, but the barrier to entry was the fact that they made that nobody used it. Yeah. Like there were a handful of games that used it.
There's more than a handful of games.
Not that many.
Go look and go to your game center when you get home and type in Kinect. There's a lot of games that they put out for it, but none of them were any good.
There was a
bullshit.
There was a Wave Runner one that I played that I actually kind of liked, but you literally had to. So you're gonna have to describe this because what you did is you sat up, you put your hands out like you're running a Wave Runner, and so you kind of had to lean. So you looked like an idiot, and after a while, it just wasn't fun. Because you're not holding on to anything. Did
you do the Jamaican bobsled team little?
You kind of had to. You kind of
That's exactly what it looked like you were doing over there.
Oh, it was fucking ridiculous.
In the bathtub.
In a bathtub.
I'm gonna have to. Oh man, now you're making me miss John Candy. Fucking assholes.
I know, right?
It had so much potential, and the 360, if you had the 360 version of it. And the Splinter Cell game, you could actually make noise. So you could say, motherfucker, and it would like somehow make noise of your character, and you could make people come to you. But even that was such a gimmick.
That doesn't sound fun.
Well, I see. The weirdest thing is consoles have always had gimmicks. I remember.
Do you really want to be crouched down like Sam Fisher for that long while you're playing a video game? I don't think so.
I physically couldn't do it. My knees wouldn't allow me. Because I remember we had an Atari when I was a kid, and the Atari had this, it was supposed to be like 3D. I vaguely remember these goggles you would wear. And consoles have always had some sort of gimmick attached to it.
The power glove.
Dude, it's a kid.
Fucking power glove. Oh my God.
Okay, get this. My parents bought me a helmet for my Nintendo. You put it on your head, and it had a little reticle, and had a little microphone. And so when you're playing Duck Hunt, you could say, fire, fire, fire. So you turn your head using the reticle, and you would kill shit just by turning your head.
Huh.
And but the Power Glove was, I remember when the movie came out, The Wizard, and I wanted it so bad. And then years later, I came across one. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And
oh my God.
And I was actually physically hitting the buttons until,
So what you guys should do tonight is go on YouTube, look, kids try the Power Glove or teens or whatever. Oh my God,
man.
that episode,
I'm definitely gonna look that up.
I was dying laughing. Oh man, it was so
That's
hilarious.
fantastic.
Because they even
Remember
did the
fucking
commercial.
Game Genie?
They did the commercial. Game Genie was actually cool.
Game Genie actually worked, and it worked really well as long as you didn't lose that fucking book.
Oh yeah,
I know, right?
That book was like the most expensive thing ever. It was like the holy grail of any of those things. It was that fucking book.
You basically you knew a guy who had one once. You know,
Yeah.
It was you lose the book. It's like losing that little notebook you had as a kid that had all the level codes.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like you lose either of those and you're just gonna knock somebody out.
Yeah, the Game Genie was a really cool concept though.
It worked really well. It was fun. It was funky as hell, but it worked great.
What was the thing for the 64, Ryan?
There was a Game Genie.
No, there was another thing. It was like an expansion pack.
There was a Rumble pack.
Yeah, it was an expansion pack.
Okay,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they had to have for Perfect Dark. If you had it for Perfect
Dark and
it put blood on the wall and shit.
A 64. I need to have an expansion pack just to play fucking Donkey Kong Country.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I have no idea why. I don't remember needing an expansion pack.
I don't either. That's weird.
The only game I had because I bought the expansion pack, and the only game I had was Mission Impossible that I remember having.
Oh, I had that game.
That game fucking sucked. That game was so stupid.
But it was still kind of fun.
That game was one step above Superman in sucking.
It was like, it almost kind of reminded me of like a second-rate Hitman.
Or it vaguely reminded me of a rip-off Goldeneye.
That's exactly what it was.
It was.
It was a little. They were going extra than Goldeneye. They were doing the face changes and.
It was the Atari. It was Nintendo's version of Atari's E.T. Let me put it that way. I hated that game.
You know what game used to drive me nuts on the old NES is the Star Wars one. The Star Wars one of the NES, you got the lightsaber in one level.
I don't remember being in it.
And that pissed me off.
Because
you get the lightsaber
the
and you're
one
like,
they did for 64
finally do this
was
shit.
Great. The Shadows of the Empire. Remember that one?
No.
Was that the one I liked was the one where you could fly the, oh God, it was like all the planes and shit. God, what was that? What was the name of that one?
PC or console?
It was 64.
The only one I know for 64 is Shadows of the Empire.
Was it Shadows of the Empire? I don't think it was Shadows of the Empire.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's you're mostly walking around with a gun the whole time, first-person shooter.
No. It was like a. Hold on.
So Star Wars, there was Shadows of the Empire, there was Rogue Wars. It was in their episode 1.
Rogue Squadron.
That's it.
Yeah, so
Rogue Squadron. Yeah, okay.
That was the one that was badass because you got to fly all the planes, and then there were some really good plane battles with that one that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I wish I liked. The thing for me that I really disliked about the Nintendo 64 is I just never got comfortable with the controllers. You know,
Perfect Dark is the game that got me really comfortable with the N64 controllers. That one,
GoldenEye for me.
Well, GoldenEye too, but with the strafing that you could do in Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
You know, like you couldn't do that as well in GoldenEye. The strafing moves.
I mean, you could.
Not to
the efficiency of Perfect Dark.
Yeah, so that's the one that I got really good with the controller was that one. But I mean, I was pretty freaking badass with GoldenEye. I mean, even when I loved when people picked Oddjob because I got so good at killing Oddjob, it was so easy. After a while, I mean, it took a little while, little bastard.
So,
no kidding.
So we're coming up to a close.
Yeah,
so I'm going to end this episode with the most painful sentence I've probably personally read in the last month and a half. He's going to go from a sex symbol to a bat symbol. So, ladies and gentlemen, for Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, Ryan Preston, as always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.